Regan Slaymaker for International Boxing News. Now I have the pleasure to be joined by Frankie Stringer down the Rotunda. I mean, tough session for you today, Frankie. Better you than me. How was that for you?
It was good. 10 rounds of graft. Me, Darren, Josh. It was hard, but it's good to get it over and done with now.
Definitely, mate. When you're training with obviously someone like Darren, who's obviously cross disciplines now, coming over into boxing, but then also Josh, undisputed super lightweight champion. I mean, must be some added motivation, no?
I've been training with Darren now the last three weeks. He took me under his wing, know what I mean? And it's boss. He's one of the hardest working trainers that I've met. So keep training with him. It'll put me in good stead. And then you've got Josh, undisputed, the best. That's the most you can win in the boxing. So looking up to him as well, training with him, it's just all motivation for me.
Definitely, mate. And obviously added motivation. You're putting in the performances as well. Last fight on a BP's undercard, obviously. It's fair to say that you impressed a few people after that fight. How do you reflect on that performance as well?
It was good. I'm learning new things. I'm trying new things in there. So just going to keep getting better and better every performance.
Definitely, mate. And when can we see you? When can we see you next in the ring? Do you have a fight date, or is it going to be after Christmas? Are you going to be able to enjoy Christmas without a weight cut?
No, I don't reckon I don't reckon I've got Christmas to enjoy. So I've hopefully got one before Christmas, and then I know I've got one January. So it's going to be a busy few months for me.
Definitely. Well, I'll try and get in the arena for both of those, mate. Catch up with you in there. But obviously, obviously, I looked on your thing. You've done a few rounds with Gary. Obviously, I've just interviewed him there. I mean, must be some really good rounds with Gary Cully there. Now he's moved over to the Rotunda.
He's 6'2" lightweight. I'm only 5'10". He's my weight, and you're sparring him and how long he is. He's big, awkward, but it's just learning for me. He's a world-class fighter. I'm 6-0 and I'm sparring elite level fighters, so it's just going to improve me and make me better. So I'm made up with it.
Definitely. I remember talking to George Liddard and Jimmy Sains, and they were obviously at the Matchroom gym. They were sparring John Ryder, Felix Cash, all these names. Obviously, and they were kind of saying very honestly, the fighters they're going to be fighting in their sixth fight, they're not going to be as good as those games. Obviously, it gives you a bit more added confidence going into those fights.
You're sparring elite level fighters. That's going to put you in good stead for in the future when you do come up against these and you've sparred and they've taught you these things. So it's just good. But you've got like Kevin. I was doing a few rounds with Kevin. He's a world class fighter. Gary, Josh Taylor. It's just unbelievable rounds for me.
Definitely, mate. And kind of obviously you are Joe McNally, Declan O'Rourke. They're the main trainers here as well. I think we spoke about it briefly in our previous interview. But what do they do differently than to maybe other coaches that you've been involved with? I know you've been here since you're a kid, but maybe you watch other coaches as well. What do they do different?
They know the game inside out. They've boxed all their lives themselves. They've represented the country. Joe Mack was a 10-0 pro, I think. So they've all done it, and they live and breathe boxing. So it's them in your corner. I will go far, I reckon, personally.
Definitely, mate. And I do want to touch on Gary's fight with obviously Reece Mould. Obviously, it's his comeback fight. He said to me there he's got a point to prove. Obviously, fully confident that Gary's going to do the business on November 25th.
Yeah, Reece Mould's a good fighter. He's a tough fighter, but Gary's world class, and I think Gary will make a statement and show everyone how good he is. So I think Gary stoppage.
There we go, bold statement there from Frankie Stringer. Frankie, my final question, mate. Do you have any last words for your fans? Obviously, I know you sold a few tickets as well on your last fought as well. But any words on your fans who are eagerly anticipating your return?
Just keep the support coming, and it's just going to get better and better. It's going to be a good journey to the top.
Definitely. Well, Frankie Stringer, keep an eye out and make sure you follow his socials as well. I'll put them in the description. Frankie Stringer, thank you very much.
Nice one.
Cheers. No worries.